Welcome back to Football Daily for today's top 10, where we take a look at 10 players who made their money once their career actually finished. Let's go. 10. Michael Owen. Kicking off this list with one of England's greatest ever strikers. Netting 40 goals in 89 matches for the Three Lions, Michael Owen made his name at Liverpool, winning the Premier League Golden Boot in his first full season as a 19-year-old. After scoring 150 goals for the Reds, he had a sole season at Real Madrid before joining Newcastle, and finally winning the Premier League as Man United's number 7 in 2011. So whilst football gave him wealth, he's managed to continue adding to it through his other passion, horse racing. As co-owner of Manor House Stables, he's seen hundreds of horses come through the gates in Cheshire, including winners at Ascot and the Dubai Gold Cup. A number of these have been sold on to other owners, stables and even countries for hundreds of thousands of pounds each. And of course, Owen has seen millions of pounds raked in prize money since opening the stables back in 2007. His favourite horse, Brown Panther, won well over £1 million despite only entering 28 races in a 6-year career. There's no doubt that Owen's new career is a lot less strenuous than his previous one, but it is definitely just as lucrative. Before we move on to our next section, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss one of our fantastic top 10s. 9. Dexter Blackstock. You can be forgiven if you've never heard of Dexter Blackstock. An unremarkable, if still successful, career spent in its entirety in the Championship, most notably with QPR and Nottingham Forest, the 33-year-old hung up his boots in 2017 after a year with Rotherham, after averaging a goal every 4 games as a striker. During his playing days, he began investing in property, and to this day has a portfolio of over 50 houses. Their £5 million valuation even exceeds what Blackstock earned throughout his entire career. But houses aren't his current project. After investment from former Forest teammates Michael Antonio and Henry Lansbury, he made his move into pharmaceuticals. He is CEO of a medical blockchain platform that is designed to give online pharmacies complete transparency when dealing with customers. This includes ID verification, customer numbers and the ability to view prescriptions, to ensure it's all trackable and that none of these drugs end up on the black market. There's always been money in pharmaceuticals, and with almost 500,000 users and 50,000 transactions each month, there's no doubt Blackstock is making a pretty penny. 8. Mia Hamm. The first female football superstar, Mia Hamm actually makes most of her money away from the game. Making her international debut when she was just 15 in 1987, at the time of her retirement in 2004 she had become the player with both the most caps and goals across international football, finding the net 158 times in 276 appearances. With no domestic football league for women in the USA until 2001, Hamm had to rely on a wage given by the USSF. Even based on the highest figures from last year, it would equate to little over $100,000 a season. Outside of football, she also heavily relied on endorsements for an income, and many of these have continued despite hanging up her boots 16 years ago. Nike, Gatorade and Pepsi all invested in Hamm's superstardom, allowing her to amass a reported wealth of $10 million. Still using her reputation, she was given a place on Roma's board of directors, and in 2014 was announced as a co-owner of LAFC, who had to pay $110 million to enter the MLS, and now have a reported value of close to $500 million. Mia Hamm is a true pioneer in women's football, both on the pitch and now off it. 7. Louis Saha. Scorer of the fastest ever FA Cup final goal after just 25 seconds in 2009, Louis Saha is used to setting the pace on the pitch, but has also developed an idea off it for players to stay ahead of the game on branding. Imagine it as a mix between Tinder and Uber. Footballers and brands can handpick each other based on their interests and give the other a rating at the end of the sponsorship. The former Fulham, Man United and Everton striker came up with this idea himself when he struggled with the lack of support around him upon his retirement in 2013. And after his now business partner Kate Hammer took a punt, messaging Saha on LinkedIn, the two came together to develop the plan for the company. Axis Stars, of whom he owns 80% and is CEO, also channels a significant amount of their profits directly to charities handpicked by both the influencers and brands they work with. And with a reputation that continues to grow, being endorsed by global stars like Tim Cahill, Samuel Eto'o and Robert Perez, the company now provides services to those outside the footballing world too, although 70% of Saha's client base come from the same profession that he did. 6. Asamoah Gyan. Despite only playing in English football for 12 months, Asamoah Gyan has become one of the most recognisable African players in world football. Once Sunderland's record signing, the Ghanaian started his European career with Udinese and Rennes before his move to the Premier League. He then infamously saw out his career on a whistle-stop tour featuring highly lucrative leagues, including both the UAE and China. Only retiring at the beginning of 2020 after a stint in India, it's fair to say that the top African goalscorer in World Cup history made a small fortune after 17 years in the game. And he's certainly made a number of investments, funding a number of small businesses and ventures across Ghana. No one on this list owns more. His first move into business was the creation of a boxing promotion company, Baby Jet Promotions, although in 8 years they've only hosted 2 events. He also started his own airline, Baby Jet Airlines, though they are yet to have their maiden flight. Oh, and he also owns a bus company, plenty of real estate, petrol stations, an events organiser, a bottled water company, bankrolls a number of Ghanaian musicians, and his very own noodles and rice company. A lot of fingers in a lot of different pies. 5. Sun Jihai. Sun Jihai's influence on Chinese football is practically unmatched. In 1998, aged 20, he became the first ever Chinese player to play in the Premier League when on loan at Crystal Palace. 4 years later, after signing permanently for Manchester City, he became not just the first from his nation to score in the Premier League, but also the first from anywhere in East Asia. Jihai became a fan favourite at the City of Manchester Stadium, making 176 appearances, and after a year with Sheffield United, moved back to his homeland in 2009, having already retired from international football a year earlier with 80 caps. And in 2016, whilst with his final club, Beijing Renhe, he founded his own sports data company, which secured financial backing from China Media Capital, an equity firm valued at over $60 billion US, which, amongst their assets, owns 30% of City Football Group. Just 3 years into this venture, and Jihai's firm, which combines sports, data, media and technology, has a base of over 400 million users throughout China. Equivalent to the total population of Europe's 7 biggest nations, the company is also planning to make inroads into the European and American markets, turning Jihai from a World Cup player to a worldwide entrepreneur. 4. Robbie Fowler. In the golden age of English strikers, it's probably not unfair to say that Robbie Fowler had a very understated career. Having to compete with the likes of Andy Cole, Michael Owen, Alan Shearer and Ian Wright amongst others, the Liverpudlian only made 26 appearances for the Three Lions, despite netting over 180 goals for his hometown club. After his time at Liverpool, Fowler played for the likes of Leeds, Man City and Cardiff, before heading down under to see out his career. But despite still being in the game as Brisbane Roar's current head coach, he has a number of investments back home. Like former Liverpool and England teammate Owen, Fowler has invested in horses alongside Steve McManaman, and has been the owner of a sports promotion company since the 1990s. But these aren't what Fowler is known for outside of the world of football. That's property. He reportedly owns close to 100 properties throughout the northwest of England, leading to the chant, "We all live in a Robbie Fowler house," whilst he was with Man City. Alongside this, he runs a property academy for aspiring developers, and in total his net worth is estimated to be upwards of £30 million. Pretty decent. 3. Ramon Vega. Despite being a Premier League player for 4 years and featuring in both the 1994 World Cup and Euro 96, you'd be forgiven if the name Ramon Vega doesn't ring any bells. The Swiss international moved to Spurs in 1997, where he was predominantly a backup to Sol Campbell and later Ledley King, making just over 80 appearances. Struggling for first team opportunities, he spent 6 months with Celtic before a year with Watford in what is now the Championship. Then after a season in Ligue 2, Vega retired in 2003, aged just 31. And since hanging his boots up, Vega has gone from earning £15,000 a week at the peak of his career with Spurs to having earned over £20 million in his post-retirement career. Perhaps not the biggest surprise for a Switzerland native, the centre-back has moved into finance and investment banking, and also owns a real estate company on the side. Inspired by a degree he took in banking and finance whilst with his first club Grasshoppers, his asset management and private equity firm now controls around £650 million of client funds. But his first love will always be football. In 2009 he failed in his attempts to purchase Portsmouth, whilst in 2015 he considered running in the FIFA presidential election. 2. Thomas Gravesen. Thomas Gravesen became known as a hard-hitting midfielder, making over 150 appearances for Everton under David Moyes before a bizarre £2.5 million move to Real Madrid's Galacticos in 2005. But what you may not know about the former Denmark international is that he became a Vegas high roller. Yes, retiring in 2008 at just 32 years of age after a stint with Celtic, Gravesen made the decision to move to the City of Sin. Having invested smartly in financial businesses during his playing career, never disclosing what they were, Gravesen's value was reportedly in the range of £100 million. Enjoying the anonymity of living stateside, it's also reported that Mad Dog lost close to £50 million in a single game of poker. Living in a suburb on the outskirts of Las Vegas, just a 20-minute drive from the Strip, the money meant Gravesen didn't look out of place amongst his famous neighbours, which included tennis legend Andre Agassi and film icon Nicolas Cage. He has since moved back to Denmark though and works as a TV pundit, unable to live a life completely without football. Either that or potentially another big loss in the casinos forced his hand. 1. Mathieu Flamini. Now, Mathieu Flamini is well known for his time at both Arsenal and AC Milan, joining the former when he was just 20, making almost 250 appearances and winning 2 FA Cups with the Gunners in 2 separate spells. They sandwiched 5 years in Italy, where Flamini became a Scudetto winner with the Rossoneri. But despite being a well-known name in football, Flamini is an even bigger name in the biochemical industry. With business partner Pascal Granata, the Frenchman founded GF Biochemicals. They are the industry leaders in producing levulinic acid, a chemical made from plant waste like grass or wood chippings that can be used in the production of plastic, fuel and pharmaceuticals. Using this as a launch point, Flamini has also released the first magazine devoted to eco-sustainability and created new university-based degrees around the bioeconomy. GF Biochemicals have around 400 employees and a reported value of $28 billion, and Flamini owns 50% of that, with Granata holding the other half. So if he ever did decide to sell up, Flamini could potentially earn $14 billion US, more than 20 times what Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are worth. But he has no intention in doing so, having previously said that he didn't go into this business to make money. So guys, that's our rundown of 10 players rich after football. We were following the money on this one. What did you guys think of it? Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Look after your families. Bye guys. Bye.